There's a story that is making waves on social media about a group of friends who went to Horn Island in Mississippi. Sadly, one of them went missing. Everybody had a lot of things to say, including Rihanna. You're going to see what she said towards the end of this video. Now, this is a young man called Nolan Xavier Wells, an 18-year-old who went missing after a trip to Horn Island in Mississippi on the 4th of July. Sadly, his body was found 2 days later on the 6th of July. Now, what's raising a lot of concerns and a lot of questions and conversation is that he went on this trip with a group of friends, all of whom are white, and he was the only black person in the group. After that day, these 3 friends came back without him. At first, nobody said anything. Since then, Nolan's death has been confirmed as an accidental drowning, but a lot of people online are asking questions. Some are saying that these friends might know more than they are saying. People are angry, especially on social media. A lot of people are calling for answers and accountability. Now, I want us to be very clear. We don't know everything yet. These are just allegations, and we have to be careful not to jump into conclusion. But a lot of people are saying that the group is silent, and that is very suspicious. And some are wondering if there was a lot more to this trip than what we know. We're going to hear from other people on social media how they feel, because personally, it doesn't even make sense that you go with a white group friends and only you, the black person, you are not back, but the whole friend group is back. So we're going to hear from other people on social media what their thoughts and what they think, what's happening. You know, there are a lot of speculations, there are a lot of things that are being said online, but we're just going to hear from a few people on what they think this story is all about and what is really going on, because the whole internet is waiting for answers at this point, because it is alleged that these boys, after they came back from this trip, they all went to get they called it legal protection or something like that. So we don't know exactly what went down on that trip, and nobody knows exactly what happened. So probably there are people who saw something. That's why this story is being shared, and so that more light can be brought to this story. So now let's listen to these people and hear what they have to say.
Secret Service Sam here, and I just need to share this video of a kid named Marquise, who this happened about a month ago in Florida, where thankfully a very nice family on paddle boards literally saved his life because his white friends dared him to swim across this river, and he was on the other side, and thankfully he was smart and is like, no, I can't swim that well. I'm not going to do it. His friends were mocking him. They were making monkey noises. Like, it's just disgusting. But I think this gives people insight into this thing with Nolan Xavier Wells is not an isolated incident. All right. And you need to be very careful who you go out with and make sure they are your friends, because teenage boys, it's like Lord of the Flies. They can be some of the most evil people on the planet. Check out this video.
You can swim down river, you fucking retard. I think I'll stay here. Bro, how am I gonna get you back home? You don't think Mama Marquise is gonna be worried? Yeah, your mom. My mom's name. My dad's your mom is always worried about you. My dad's in prison. I think that's why. Because your dad's in prison, we know, we can tell just by looking at you. Bro, we get you can't swim. Bro, just go get a kayak. You have a fucking life jacket on, Marquise.
I'll just wait.
Bro, you have a life jacket.
Bro, I'm black. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna save me.
Bro, yes it does.
Bro, I'll just find a way. Hey. Hi. Yeah, they think I'm about to swim back, but I can't swim.
Bro, you have a life jacket.
I'm gonna die.
Standing right
Hold
now.
on to the
You
back
have to
front
go.
board.
I'm just trying to get over there.
Get over there.
We can get
We
you.
taught him how to swim.
Oh, so I can just like hold on to the back.
What's your
Oh,
name?
my name is Marquise. But everybody calls me Lavar because I go to like Denellen.
Are you okay? Are you
Ma'am?
okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was okay getting over here. And they think I'm about to swim back. I can't even swim.
Good job right now.
Probably around holding this. And it's my first time here.
It's your
Oh, first time? Well, welcome.
Yeah.
How'd you get over here?
Yeah, what
They made me
happened?
take that way over there, and they had 2 life jackets on. I'm never coming back with y'all.
You hear him? They said they made him do it. And thankfully for this family, they saved his life. And you heard Marquise said, I'm never coming back with y'all. That is how you survive a situation like this. Be careful. Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president of the world.
I know that friend group that he was with is known for, I don't know if I can say this substance, but they're known for doing a certain substance. And, you know, some of us who have spoke to Nolan prior to the island date, we know that they were known for doing that substance. Another thing that we believe is, what if they peer pressured him into doing something? And again, with the mixture of alcohol and allegedly coming from his friend group that knows him very well. I'm talking about teammates that played with him, went to school with him, and folks that see him every weekend. Allegedly, we believe that maybe something just didn't go the way they wanted it to. Maybe they were trying to have a little bit too much fun, and it was just a mistake that they covered up. But I know for a fact that that friend group that they were with is known for a certain substance. So it does not surprise me whatsoever. And I'm almost certainly confident, allegedly, that there was that substance on that boat. I know we won't know till the body gets tested and all that, but, you know, it's what makes sense to me. I don't believe he tried to swim back to the island or anything like that. There's just a lot of things that doesn't make sense. Why did they leave him in the first place? Why didn't they make sure he had a ride home? If that was me and my friend group that I typically hang out with, I mean, Nolan, yes, was in that, but if it was me and my 4 close friends, I'm not leaving that island until I leave with my friend.
Y'all can be mad at me if you want, but this story is not sitting right with me at all. Because how does the only black kid leave with the group and end up being the only one who never makes it home? I'm not buying the "we thought he caught another ride" BS. I'm just not. He came with y'all. He should have left with y'all. Y'all also had his phone too. So make that make sense. Of course, here come the comments saying it's not about race. Maybe not. But explain to me why the only black teen who went out with a group of white boys is the only one who ended up dead. Y'all not gonna like this, but being the only black person in a group where nobody's looking out for you is not always the safest situation. And for these so-called friends to say they don't know what happened or they can't remember, that's not sitting right with me either. They weren't looking out for their friend, period. That's why I'm not buying what they're saying. Nolan deserved to make it home the same way every single one of his so-called friends did. My prayers are with his family, and I truly hope they get answers. And y'all, tell me if I'm wrong. If your friend shows up dead, but somehow nobody remembers anything, would you just accept that? Or are some of y'all so uncomfortable talking about race that you'll ignore every red flag sitting right in front of you?
Autopsies done on black children in America where foul play is presumed to be involved is exactly how this country look at black Americans. Autopsies done on black children where there's presumed to be foul play involved in America is exactly how this country look at black kids. Now they saying that Nolan Wells is presumed to be no foul play involved. Now that was quick, number one. Number two, in all of this right here, his family got smart and they said, you know what? We're going to do our own investigation, which as they should. Now, Jackson Sheriff's Department or whatever, they trying to act like, oh, it was no foul play involved. Maybe he just drowned or whatever. At the end of the day, we have to stay on this story. And this is why I say it's so important not to muddy the waters and say the news that we get. Also, if you guys are not following Attorney Ben Crump, you need to be following him because his voice is directly from the family. He's going to be representing the family in this situation, and that's the voice of opportunity when it comes to covering this case the way that we need it covered. Sidebar. Now, the internet is in uproar right now, and for it to be no foul play, them kids from that school surely coming to the front saying that he was with a girl, and when her family left, he went back to his friend group, and his friend group is known for doing rugs. Yeah, that did hit the airwaves, and these are the kids from the school talking, not hearsay. I digress. We need justice for Nolan Wells, and there's just nothing else to it. We are not going to let up. This is not something that's trending, and we need to let that be known. Mississippi is on fire right now. Yeah, and the rest of the United States is helping it burn. Hello, I'm just here to bring y'all the news. I'll update y'all when we get some more. I'm just the messenger.
I want to talk about the details that are confirmed in Nolan's case. We have a semi-timeline, and then I also want to talk about one of Nolan's friends that was there on the 4th of July, Warren Hudson, and also a message that his mom sent to somebody. Okay, first, let's talk about the timeline. So this comes from Will Polston. He's a journalist that I follow on Facebook. He has broken down the things that we know and the things that we don't know. So the first known thing is that Nolan went to Horn Island on a boat with his friends. Nolan was last seen at 3 p.m. on July 4th on the west tip of Horn Island. Nolan's mother made the initial phone call to police near midnight on July 4th. So I've seen a lot of comments saying that, because I believe this at first too, that the boys went back and then reported it to the police, but they didn't. They didn't say anything to anyone. It was Nolan's mom, once he didn't come home, who called law enforcement. Family confirmed on social media of his passing. We know that to be true. And then Nolan's autopsy is scheduled for July 7th, which is today. And that's going to be extremely telling when those results come back. Unknown things are, one, who was last seen with Wells specifically. We know that his friends were there. We know there was a girl there. We know who the girl was. Why did Nolan end up in the water? Because he was found in the water. Why did Nolan not come back with the friends that he went with? And why did no one from the island call to report Nolan missing? And let me reiterate, 2 days ago when I first heard about this, I believed that his friends, because I had read it somewhere, I believed that his friends had gone back and then they reported it. But it was not his friends. They did not report him missing. It wasn't until midnight that Christine, his mother, called law enforcement and reported Nolan missing. We haven't talked about many of the friends on here in depth. This right here is Warren Hudson. He is one of the friends. We use that term loosely. I follow somebody on Facebook called Boogie Lowdown. I've also been talking about this case, and he has posted a lot of information and, posting about all of these boys, men, whatever we want to call them. And Katie Hudson Seymour is the mother of Warren Hudson, and she was not happy that he was posting about her son. So Katie went ahead and sent Boogie a message, and he posted the screenshots, and I want to share them here because the things that she said in the message before she deleted her Facebook account are pretty interesting to me. So I am going to make a video just separately of her messages. The highlighted part, let's talk about that. So we just read who was confirmed to have reported Nolan missing on July 4th, and that was his mother, Christine. Katie says in this message to Boogie that her son, she said, he was the first person that noticed he was missing when they got back to their friend's house and called his mother, the Coast Guard, and the sheriff's office. That is a lie. Before y'all call me a liar, because the comments are crazy on some of these videos, before y'all call me a liar, do your research too and go and see if any of these boys, if anybody before Christine reported Nolan missing, because it didn't happen. I'm gonna flash through the messages. So I don't know if y'all see it too. I would love to hear your opinions. I'm only human. I might be wrong about certain things, but to me, I see this as one, a lie, and a clear as day contradiction. If you pause the messages and read through, she had this whole other story about how the boat broke down and all of this stuff. And now her account is deleted just like everybody else's. I want to say, because this has been sitting with me in all of this, the last thing I want to do is disrespect Nolan's family. I have been blessed to have a platform like this where I can reach a decent amount of people. And if I were ever missing, I would want somebody to do the same for me.
One of their mamas is a local judge. One of their moms is a local judge. We knew when we saw the picture of him and his friends and that he was missing, we already knew. We already knew what happened to him. Okay? Now one of the moms is a local judge. She gonna do everything she can to protect her son. These kids won't do a day in jail. That whole town, the police, the attorneys, and the judge, they are going to protect those young men, those young white men. They're going to protect them with everything they have, that whole city. And the parents might as well get ready, because y'all about to be dealing with a whole bunch of racist shit. Even though y'all son was murdered, y'all about to be dealing with racist shit like y'all did something to them. Get ready. This is America 101. Yep.
I beg your finest fucking pardon, but I know if my friend went missing, I wouldn't be out partying a few hours later. Hell, if it was just somebody that I remotely cared about and didn't wish harm upon, I'd be trying to find them. And I sure as hell know that I wouldn't leave an actual island without them. And I know that I wouldn't be deleting all my social media and having my parents even delete their social media. I know I would be openly working with anybody and everybody and speaking out very publicly to find information, to find out why they are unalive. But no, that's not what happened to Nolan Xavier Wells, because those individuals were not his friends. They were not even his acquaintances. They clearly did not care about him at all or his well-being. Because if they did, this is not the storyline that we would be hearing. This is not the timeline of actions that we would be seeing. The fact that one of those kids lawyered up as soon as news broke about Nolan Xavier Wells' disappearance, we all knew how this was going to end up after that moment. This happens so much in our society that I fear that people just expect it now because they do, because it's all too fucking common. But we all know, had that picture had been 3 black teenage boys with 1 white teenage boy, this would be all over mainstream media and the president would be fucking talking about it right now. We all fucking know that. Rest in peace, Nolan Xavier Wells, and I truly hope that your family finds peace and you receive justice, because this is so fucking wrong and we need to keep his name alive. This has to stop in our country.
There is no way in hell that that young man decided to go for a swim by himself on that island on 4th of July weekend. The island's packed with people. It would be hard to even find a way to go for a swim by yourself alone on that island on 4th of July. It's just a little spit of land. But there is no fucking way in hell that that young black man on an island full of white people decided to sneak off by himself and go for a swim alone in water over his head or anywhere near over his head. You understand what I'm saying? That's not something that happened. And an accidental drowning is the only way that that young man could be dead and it not be murder. And there's no fucking way he went swimming by himself, that he left the group and everybody that could possibly see or hear him and decided to go for a swim.
So the same thing that happened to Nolan Wells almost happened to me. I think I was like 22 years old working at Texas Roadhouse. You know what I mean? Young, silly. Forgot a couple of the things that my granddaddy told me when I was growing up. But at any rate, every year, the employees and managers, they would take this little, resort, and it wasn't really a resort, it was in the country, and they would take a couple of canoes, some ice chest of beer, and you know what I mean, everybody was out there smoking, you know what I mean, and I'm like, man, that sounds like a good time. And mind you, I could swim, been swimming since, I don't know, maybe it was 4 years old when I jumped in the pool for the first time. But at that point in time, I thought these people were my friends. Another lesson my grandparents taught me when I was younger is that you don't have any friends. You know what I mean? You really do not. Like, my siblings were always my friends, and I learned that. At any rate, I signed up to go on this, little trip with these people. And, it was good at first. It was, the water was kind of shallow. You know what I mean? We maybe had 6 or 7 canoes out there, music, people having a good time. And, I'm not really used to that and not having a good time. But usually when me and my kinfolk get together and play music that loud and was as rambunctious as they were, and because the whole time I'm looking around like, when the police showing up? We smoking weed out loud and everything. So mind you, after a while I got comfortable into it, you know what I mean? Everybody told me, loosen up, but I'm on edge, you know what I mean? For many reasons. And so the trip continued, and at one point in time, they let us know, okay, so we're gonna get up on the bank right here, and then we're gonna go see the waterfall. So I'm like, oh, okay, so but what we gonna do at the waterfall? You know what I mean? Because I'm vibing, but at the same time, I'm not stupid. And they was like, we're just gonna look at sit there, light a fire, smoke some more, drink some more. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we get to the little spot where we pull up the canoes, we anchor them off and whatnot, and then they tell us, okay, so this little piece of water right here, we got to swim across that to get to the waterfall. I hate when people add extras to a plan. You know what I mean? Especially for me, I think into a lot of things and I got a plan. So I'm still cautious, and I'm watching everybody dive in this water, you know what I mean, and swim right across. You know what I mean? And I hadn't jumped in yet because I'm still leery. And I don't know what it was, but it was holding me back. But so I'm the last person. Everybody, come on, let's go. So I jump in, and I get almost halfway through over that water to the other side. And then I realized that I'm swimming rather hard and ain't moving nowhere. Long story short, nobody told me that there was a strong current at this spot and you needed to be prepared. At this point, I'm smoking and drinking. So I couldn't understand. Mind, just get back to the story. So I get halfway through the water and I realize that, and I'm losing my strength slowly but surely. And at this point in time, I am calling out for help. No music is playing at this time. You know what I mean? None. Yeah, everybody was rambunctious, excited, whatever, but you could clearly hear me out there in the woods. It's still daylight. So I am screaming that I can't make it. Somebody please help me. They turn around, several of them look at me, say, you can do it, come on, let's go. And they continue to walk off. At this point in time, I have already said my prayers and have already decided that I'm going to meet my maker. I scream one more time, I am going to drown, and I went down. I don't know can't remember who was and what made them decide to change their mind and come back, but one person jumped in that water, grabbed me, pulled me up onto the bank, and mind you, they didn't do anything else after that and continued on their way. So I said all of this to say that I have Caucasian friends, you know what I mean? And I ain't saying friends. I have Caucasian people that I love and care about. You know what I mean? Because that's what God said. But I will be honest with you. It is a lesson that the elders taught us as young black children. The same lesson that I'm sure you're telling all your children now. Do not be the only one. And it really doesn't matter how people feel about that, because the concern is preservation of life. So for some reason, God saw fit to not allow me to lose my life that day. And for some reason, God called Nolan home. So I will say that despite what anybody feels about how you feel about the situation, please have that conversation with your children. And that's all I'm gonna say. Rest in peace, Nolan Wells, and to his entire family.
These motherfuckers left him there to die, or they killed him and left. And one thing's for sure, they better be fucking terrified, because Ben Crump's legal team is on it. His team is conducting an independent review. Why? Because no one fucking trusts law enforcement. They're urging that anyone on that trip or near Horn Island to freaking step forward. But mostly, they want to know about the physical altercation that happened right before his friends left. They said Nolan wanted to stay behind with another group of friends. Nolan Xavier Wells said yes to a trip on 4th of July to Horn Island in Mississippi. His 18-year-old body was found Monday, July 6th by a park ranger in the water just offshore of Horn Island. The cause of death still unknown. There was an autopsy done, but they said that the toxicology panels can take up to 2 weeks to finalize. I don't care what anyone says, but this is a black teenager hanging out with his white friends, and only the black teenager doesn't return. First off, if I ever go on a trip with you anywhere, you're coming back home with me. We do not leave anyone behind. And you're telling me an 18-year-old boy left his phone on the boat to protect it from water, and he was talking to some girl on the island? All I know is if I'm interested in someone and we're having a great time, I would take a selfie and I would ask for your number. So the phone was still on the boat. This teenager never said, "Where the fuck is my phone?" The phone made it home, but he didn't. Bull fucking shit.
Judge Ashley Cole has returned on Facebook. She deactivated it. Now she's back. And she put out a statement last night. Just a quick reminder. Ashley Cole is the stepmother of Warren Hudson. Warren Hudson is one of the friends that was on the boat with Nolan Wells on the 4th of July. So we're just going to talk about the statement. Let's go through it real quick. Judge Cole opens up with, "Our family, along with the community, grieves the loss of Nolan Wells. Our thoughts and prayers are with Nolan's family. Our son, Warren, loved Nolan deeply. Unfortunately, I feel that it is appropriate for our family to dispel some rumors with facts based upon social media attention that is being diverted away from the Wells family and their loss. Yes, I deactivated my Facebook, given the very heightened emotional state of social media right now. I fear for the safety of my child and my children. My husband and I have 6 children, and we covet their privacy. We do not believe it is appropriate for our minor children's photographs to be circulated through the internet, presenting potential threats to their safety. I graduated high school with Christine Wells Wansley, who is Nolan's mom. We are from the same community. I have the utmost respect for her and all of the Wells family. We mourn the loss of Nolan with them. Our prayers have been and will continue to be with them. My husband and I were not at Horn Island at any point on the 4th of July. No one in our family is trying in any way to impede with the investigation by law enforcement or to otherwise hamper the family and law enforcement's quest for answers. Warren has been interviewed by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department and cooperated fully. He saw Nolan last at around 3 p.m. on July 4th. They left around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taking on water and they had an issue with the bilge pump. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. Yes, I am a judge. I also value transparency. I apologize if anyone was offended that I deleted my social media. There were no nefarious motivations in deleting my social media. Social media has a lot of positives, but a whole lot of negatives. We live in a world of clickbaiting, sad but true. My family is hopeful that this information will help to redirect the attention to the Wells family, their grief, and their need for community's support. So my first thought after reading all of this is there's no justice for Nolan. It just feels very emotionless to me. And again, some of y'all are mad in my comments, but these are my opinions. These are my opinions. It feels emotionless to me. In my opinion, it's giving detached. I mean, obviously she's a judge. This statement was well thought out. Never want anything to happen to children. We shouldn't be threatening kids. That's crazy. I also didn't know until yesterday that Christine, who is Nolan's mother, and Ashley Cole graduated together. So the fact that they go like way back is crazy and definitely probably brings like way more emotion to this. Regarding the second half of her statement, I noticed a slight discrepancy with the time. So she said that he saw Nolan last at 3 p.m. on July 4th. They left around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taking on water. Remember how Katie Hudson messaged the Facebook creator and she said he repeatedly asked Nolan to get on the boat at 5, okay? Didn't Judge Cole just say they last saw him at 3? But Nolan wanted to stay with a girl and their boat was parked next to his. He was insistent about staying with this girl. Wyatt asked him several times to please get on the boat and people heard him. My son loves him and would never in 1 million years leave him. Warren does not even have a boat. Nolan has been to our house several times and he is the sweetest friend. We all adore him. Again, when Wyatt asked for him to get on, he said he wanted to stay and Wyatt's boat started to fill with water. His boat ended up breaking down and was towed in. I don't know this girl he wanted to stay with. I can just tell you though, my son had nothing to do with it in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, he was the first person that noticed he was missing when they got back to their friend's house and called his mother, the Coast Guard, and the sheriff's office. Warren is very responsible and he's always keeping up with everyone else. And now that I am reading this again, I am like, whoa, didn't you just say that that Nolan was insistent on staying with the girl who was Katie? But how is your son going to be the first one to notice that he's missing when they get back to their friend's house? If you just said that he wanted to stay with the girl, so how does that even make sense? If they knew he was going to stay with the girl, how are they all going to get back to their friend's house and be like, oh, he's missing? And how does the one black friend, you don't notice he's missing? And then she goes, my son loves him and never in 1 million years would leave him, but they did. They didn't stay on the island to look for him. It's delusional to me. But the biggest thing I noticed was the differences in time. If they were asking Nolan to get on the boat at 5, but Judge Cole said in her statement that he was last seen at 3, that's 2 hours of a difference. And remember, they're in the same damn family. Ashley Cole is the stepmother and Katie Hudson is the mother of Warren Hudson. So how are your stories so different? I also keep thinking about this part of her message where she says, I brought my other son out there and saw my son Warren briefly. We took a picture that we were not out there with them longer than like 10 minutes. So Ashley Cole, the stepmother, is specifically saying he saw Nolan last at around 3 p.m. on July 4th. They left around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taking on water. Keep that in mind. Katie, his mother, he repeatedly asked Nolan to get on the boat at 5 when it was time to leave. But Nolan wanted to stay with the girl and their boat was parked next to his. So was it 3 or 5 o'clock? Because a lot can happen in 2 hours.
Now Rihanna has weighed in herself. Under a post about the case, she commented, heartbreaking. We need justice. To me, that response goes beyond simply offering condolences. She really wants it to be known that she fully supports his mom and believes the family deserves clear answers about what happened.